You've heard it all before. Crypto is a worthless Ponzi scheme for criminals that's boiling the oceans. The headlines practically scream it at you. Billion-dollar scams, shadowy hackers, and environmental disaster. It's a narrative designed to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt. What we in the space call FUD. And honestly, it's incredibly effective. For a long time, I believed some of it myself. It's the easy, comfortable story to accept. But then, I stopped listening to the headlines and started looking at the actual data. And the data tells a very, very different story. One that separates the widespread myths from the multi-trillion-dollar reality. So, let's debunk the biggest cryptocurrency lies you've been told, using facts, not fear. We'll arm you with the data you need to see past the noise and figure out what's really going on. Let's get into it. Section 1. Lie number 1. It's a giant Ponzi scheme. First up, the big one. Crypto, especially Bitcoin, is just a giant Ponzi scheme. The argument is that it has no real value, and it only works if you can find a greater fool to buy it from you for more than you paid. This sounds convincing because it plays on our fear of the new and unknown, but it fundamentally misunderstands what a Ponzi scheme actually is. A Ponzi scheme, by definition, needs a central operator, a ringleader. This person promises huge returns to early investors and pays them off with money from new investors. It's a house of cards that always collapses when the new money dries up. There's no real product, just deception. Bitcoin is the exact opposite. It's decentralized. There's no CEO, no central company, and nobody promising you returns. It runs on a transparent public ledger called the blockchain, which anyone on the planet can view and verify. Its rules were coded from day one and can't be changed by some person or group in a back room. Unlike a Ponzi, which is secretive by design, Bitcoin is radically transparent. Its value isn't created by tricking people. It comes from a mix of things. First, verifiable scarcity. We know there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. Second, its utility as a secure, borderless way to send value without needing a bank. And third, the massive computing power that secures the network, making it the most powerful computer network in human history. Bitcoin isn't a promise from a fraudster, it's a self-sustaining, open financial network. Its price moves with market supply and demand, like any other asset. Calling it a Ponzi isn't just wrong, it shows a basic misunderstanding of how it works. Section 2. Lie number 2. It's only for criminals. Okay, next lie. Crypto is the top choice for criminals, terrorists, and money launderers. The media loves this angle. It paints a picture of a digital Wild West where anonymous hackers move billions in the shadows. Let's be clear. Like any financial tool, from cash to wire transfers, crypto has been used for illegal stuff. But the idea that it's only for criminals, or even that it's their best tool, is just plain false. Here's the thing people miss. Crypto isn't anonymous, it's pseudonymous. Every single transaction is carved into the public blockchain, creating a permanent, unchangeable record. While your real name isn't attached, transactions are tied to a crypto address, a string of characters, and these addresses can absolutely be tracked. Blockchain analytics firms like Chainalysis work with law enforcement agencies all over the world to follow the money. In many ways, it's easier to trace dirty money on a blockchain than it is to follow a briefcase full of cash. So, what does the data say? According to Chainalysis, in 2025, illicit transactions made up less than 1% of the total cryptocurrency transaction volume. And while the total dollar amount of illicit activity has grown as the market has, its slice of the overall crypto pie remains incredibly small. What's even more interesting is that criminals are actually moving away from Bitcoin. The same reports found that stablecoins, cryptocurrencies pegged to a stable asset like the US dollar, accounted for a staggering 84% of all identified illicit transactions in 2025. So while headlines fixate on crypto crime, The reality is the vast majority of activity is for legitimate things like investing, online payments, or for people in countries with shaky economies, a way to protect their savings. All right, we're halfway through. If you're getting value from this and realizing the crypto story is a bit more complex than you've been told, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. My goal is to help you separate the facts from the fear, and your support makes that possible. All right, we're halfway through. If you're getting value from this and realizing the crypto story is a bit more complex than you've been told, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. My goal is to help you separate the facts from the fear, and your support makes that possible. This might be the most emotional and fiercely debated lie of them all, that Bitcoin mining is boiling the oceans and single-handedly accelerating climate change. We hear these shocking comparisons, right? That Bitcoin uses more energy than entire countries. And to be fair, securing the Bitcoin network through mining is an energy-intensive process. There's no denying that. But the popular narrative is often stripped of crucial context and relies on outdated or misleading data. First, let's get some perspective. While estimates vary, recent reports place Bitcoin's annual energy use somewhere around 138-165 TWs. That's a lot of energy. But when you compare it to the traditional banking system, which some estimates place as high as 260 TW1 annually, or the gold mining industry at around 240 TW1, it's not the outrageous outlier it's made out to be. The more important question isn't just energy, but the old narrative assumed it was all powered by coal. A UN study covering 2020-2021 found that 67% of the energy came from fossil fuels. However, the industry is changing fast. Bitcoin miners are driven by a simple economic reality: find the cheapest power on Earth. And often, that's stranded or excess renewable energy. Miners are setting up shop next to hydroelectric dams, wind farms, and even using flared natural gas that would otherwise be burned straight into the atmosphere. Recent data from 2025 shows a significant shift. A study from Cambridge University, for example, now estimates that over 52% of Bitcoin mining is powered by sustainable sources, including renewables and nuclear. It also found coal's share has dropped dramatically to under 10%. Now, this doesn't mean the problem is solved. The debate is complex, and there are still very real concerns about e-waste from old hardware and the water and land footprint of mining operations. But the story that it's an unchecked environmental disaster just isn't accurate. It ignores the powerful economic forces pushing it towards sustainability and the industry's ability to innovate. Like when Ethereum, the second largest crypto, cut its energy use by over 99.9% with a software update. Section 4. Lie number 4. It has no intrinsic value and it's too volatile. This is a 2-for-1 lie that gets to the heart of why so many people are skeptical. Part 1. Bitcoin isn't backed by anything, so it has no real value. And Part 2. It's so volatile, it can't be a serious asset. Let's tackle the no intrinsic value argument. People say it's not backed by gold or a government. Well, guess what? Neither is the US dollar. For over 50 years, major world currencies haven't been backed by a physical commodity. Their value comes from trust in the government that issues them, what's known as fiat, or value by decree. Bitcoin's value comes from a different set of properties, more like digital gold. It's valuable because it's scarce, durable, portable, divisible, and most importantly, because it solves a huge computer science problem: how to create a digital thing that can't be copied or spent twice without a central party verifying it. That is its intrinsic value, the value of a perfectly scarce, sovereign financial network that nobody controls. It's backed by math and a global, decentralized network. Now, about volatility. Yes, Bitcoin's price swings wildly. That is undeniable. But this kind of volatility is a hallmark of nearly every new, world-changing technology in its early days. Remember Amazon? Its stock dropped over 90% during the dot-com bust. The early days of the internet, Oil and railroads were all defined by massive booms and busts. This is the chaos of price discovery, where the world is collectively trying to figure out what a new, global, non-government store of value is actually worth. And while a single Bitcoin might seem expensive, it's highly divisible. You don't have to buy a whole one. You can buy a tiny fraction, called a Satoshi, just like a dollar is made of cents. This makes it accessible to anyone. Over time, as more people adopt it and the asset matures, this volatility is widely expected to decrease. So, is crypto a worthless, criminal-run, planet-destroying Ponzi scheme? The data says no. It's a decentralized financial network, not a Ponzi. Criminal use is a tiny fraction of its total volume. Its environmental impact is a complex issue, but one with powerful incentives driving it towards sustainability. And its value is rooted in scarcity and breakthrough technology, with volatility being a natural part of its journey. The point of this isn't to tell you to go buy crypto. The point is to encourage you to think for yourself. Question the headlines. Look at the facts. This technology is one of the most significant innovations of our lifetime, and it deserves to be understood, not just dismissed out of fear. Do your own research. Ask the hard questions. But base your conclusions on data, not dogma. The story of cryptocurrency is still being written, and understanding the truth behind the lies is the first step to understanding where the future of finance might be headed. What's the biggest crypto lie you've heard? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.